just heard a commercial for gold, buying gold, and some suggestion on in these tough economic times we should get ready and fill our portfolio with gold as a buffer for even more hard times to come. And then I've heard things about, you know, if there's an economic collapse or a SHTF or WRL or WROL type situation, gold is going to be the monetary system when that happens. Well, I've been thinking about it a lot. I mean, this isn't the first time I've heard about it, but it's kind of been rattling around in my head, and I just wanted to kind of put it out there to see what everybody else thinks about it. To me, there's three major problems with buying gold for the purpose of an economic collapse. Now, it's okay if you want to buy gold as an investment strategy or part of your portfolio or something. That's fine. To me, I kind of missed the boat on it because I didn't have the money to buy it when it was low, and of course now it's, I don't know, $1,500–$1,600 an ounce. But to buy it now, I think is not a good idea. But that's beside the point. My point is to buy gold for preparation for an economic collapse. Here's why, to me, I don't see how it would work. The first problem you would have is, how much do you need? How much gold do you think you're going to need for an economic collapse? And at $1,500–$1,600 an ounce, who's got that kind of cash? I don't have $1,500–$1,600 to buy an ounce of gold. So that's problem number one. Problem number two, we pretend that problem number one isn't a constraint for us. Say we've got a lot of money to buy gold. So I buy a bunch of gold, and WRL happens or economic collapse happens, and I go to buy something. I've got my piece of gold. Well, what's that piece of gold going to be worth? I go to buy a loaf of bread, and the guy who has the bread says, okay, it's going to cost you 10 gold pieces. I'll tell him, well, you crazy. You know, that's a lot of money. Well, he's got the bread, and you don't. So who's going to win? If things got so bad that the monetary system collapsed, gold is going to go with it, in my opinion. And gold with any kind of monetary system is only worth what somebody else thinks it's worth in trade for what they want to give you for it. So that's problem number two. Problem number three is, and you don't even have to wait for economic collapse for this to happen. It's happening right now. We just don't know it. Counterfeiting. When you, let's say problem number one and problem number two are solved. You go to buy your gold. How do you know it's real gold? You get this thing in a plastic sleeve, looks all nice, and there's cast letters or etched letters in this piece of gold that you got that says 100% 24 karat gold. How do you really know? How do you have you tested it? How do you know what you bought, you thought was gold, even that gold coin you got? How do you know it's real? Some expert told you it was real? Are you sure? Kind of too late to find out when there's an economic collapse that what you thought you bought was gold is not gold. So that's problem number three. And kind of the part 3B is, okay, we're in the economic collapse. You're the one selling the bread. Somebody comes to you and say, I'll give you 10 gold pieces. You're like, cool, I've been needing gold, right? So you sell them your bread for 10 gold pieces. Turns out it's fake gold. How do you know after an economic collapse that what that guy brought you that you thought was gold is real? It's just It's just an economic indicator of worth. It's really not worth anything if you think about it. Gold is only worth what people are willing to pay for it. When gold was $400 an ounce, a few people were buying it. Yeah, it's still valuable. But you think about it. You got a piece of gold. What can you do with it? You can't eat it. Yeah, it looks pretty. Same thing with anything that we think is worth something. You go out in the middle of a bush in Australia, and you go up to, and you're starving, and you go up to one of the bushmen and say, "Hey, give me some food. I'll give you this gold." He's going to be like, "Get bent." Everybody's kind of banking, no pun intended, on gold to save them during an economic collapse, and I just don't see it happening. But that's just me. I'm I don't think like other people do. Could be a good or bad thing, but yeah. Well, what do you guys think about that? Explain to me how replacing the current monetary system with some other type of monetary system, when the monetary system has collapsed, it is a good thing. If anything, to me, having food, something tangible that people will want after an economic collapse. Now, again, you can go so far as having 10 years worth of food, and that's fine. People are probably doing that. But and I'm not a big prepper myself. I think I stated before, I just have enough for hurricane disaster until normal conditions can be restored. But I'm definitely, right now I'm not prepared for an economic collapse, because personally, to me, I just don't put much stock in it. Even the worst time in American history, the Great Depression, if people were just somewhat prepared, they could weather the storm. They could get by. And even people who had nothing got by. And granted, times are different, but I think there's a lot more systems in place to handle that kind of situation in modern times. And I think people are just used to such a high level of comfort that it's going to seem worse. But I don't think there's going to be mass deaths or anything like that. We'll just have to learn to do with less. But anyway, that's beside the point. So I guess my original point is, I don't think investing in gold for the purpose of surviving an economic collapse is a good idea. So let me know what you think. Make a video response or put a comment below, and we can have a dialogue about it. That's all I got. See you later.